you, we want to know. So I brought you on my show. We want to know. With today's special guest, Limitless Flow. Hello, everyone. Welcome back for another episode of We Want to Know. You have your favorite here, Kai here, of course. But today we have two amazing guests. We have Daniela and Kemi, who make up Limitless Flow. Let's in-house clap for them. Woo! So happy to have you guys here. And first, we got to start out by saying happy belated birthday, Daniela.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome. Well, I guess the first thing, because I just mentioned what you guys do, so just briefly tell people what Limitless Flow is. Just a synopsis.
Yeah, I could go ahead and share that. So hi, everyone. I'm excited to be on the show. Thanks for inviting us. So we're Limitless Flow. We are a dance ministry, and we're in the business of bringing entertainment to the Christian community through showcasing our talent of dance. And so we do so through social media content, through performances at different events. So any events that people would like to hire us for, we're excited and happy to do that there. And then also one of the main things we also want to bring to the table is we want to kind of break this like stereotype of what worship should look like. A lot of times worship, when people think of worship, they think of it more as like this Eurocentric form of worship. So we want to bring in like African Black culture into our worship experience and hopefully celebrate that with everyone.
Thank you. We'll get more into it as the episode goes on, but I just kind of wanted you to have the chance to briefly talk about that first. Well, now that you said that, I wanted to kind of also get to allow the people a chance to get to know you like individually. So I guess Daniela, I'll start with you because I saw on Instagram that you had posted that you recently became a naturalized citizen. So I just wanted you to talk about like, how was that for you?
Oh, okay, I was not expecting that question. It was an amazing experience. It was an amazing opportunity. My journey is a long journey. I don't know if you want to get into that. But just in short, like, you know, I was a refugee from Congo. And so it was a long journey to becoming a citizen of a nation, and a lot of emotions with like feeling like you belong, feeling like you don't belong. Because you come from all these different places and moving around and everything. And so I was really grateful to God for giving my family the opportunity to become citizens, because that for us meant that we don't have to keep moving around and we can actually call this place home. So it meant a lot to me. Yeah.
That's dope. That's dope. And now for Kemi, my question for you is because we've all chatted previously before this episode. So you told me that you also want to become a physical therapist. And so I wanted you to talk about like your journey, because it's not that many Black women in this lane. I mean, it's growing now, but so what inspired you to, you know, become a physical therapist and be a part of that journey?
Yeah, for sure. I would definitely say it's ironically just, I think, the art of dance that kind of allowed me to realize I want to become a physical therapist. I think just movement and the ability to be able to move your body and have that kind of authority over your body to contort it and to move it how you desire is a privilege, right? A lot of people don't have the opportunity to move one period, but then also just to be able to say that like I can move, I guess, on a more expertise level. And so like I take the advantage to be able to move my body, every limb, even just like doing simple things like that. Like I even now work in a hospital where like we're literally working on like an exercise for some patients is just to pinch their like their fingers, because that's how difficult it is for them, because they have no sensation in that part of their fingers. And so just to be through dance, I just learned that like there's power to be able to move, and there's power to be able to say like I can do this with my body and take advantage of it. And so just the idea of like people not having that power and not having that authority to do that with their own bodies, it kind of just disheartened me. And so I guess when I found out about the field of physical therapy, like, and how it kind of helps people get to that level of just being able to get back on their feet and just be able to move and just, again, get sensation back into different parts of their body that maybe they can't feel, or muscle movement where before they didn't have it, but now just through therapy and exercises, they can regain it. And so long story short, I think that's how I got into this field. And yeah, I just love the idea of just helping people regain power and authority of their own body movement and mechanisms. Yeah.
I love that. as someone else who wants to be a physical therapist, I understand, we all have our stories and why we want to do it, but yours is very dope. And you spoke about dance, so I also wanted to ask you both this question. What made you both start dancing?
I could go first. I've been dancing ever since I could remember. For me, it's a deeply like cultural thing. So like I mentioned, I am Congolese, and so in our culture, it's like we dance at every single event, wedding, graduation, birthday, even funeral, church, you name it. So it's like I think I've just been dancing ever since then. But like I realized that I really had a passion for dance, like maybe like starting middle school, high school, sort of. However, I didn't have the opportunity to really pursue it, like professionally or like go to classes. But I always expressed to my like parents that I wanted to do it, and they were very traditional, so they didn't really allow me to like go to classes because they were like, "Oh no, that's not very." Christ-like or whatever. Like they were very traditional in the way they were thinking. But once I got to undergrad, that's when I was like, you know what, like I'm really gonna take this upon myself to really flesh it out and really learn. And so I started going to classes and like learning and all these things. But I've been dancing forever. I see dance as like a way to express yourself. And so it's a form of expression, and it's an outlet for me even. So like when I would be like super stressed, like I would just get home and I would just start put on music and I'm dancing, and I just feel so much better. So yeah, that's the dancing for me.
From what I heard of Daniela is similar, like is just like I started dancing in church. Well, technically I guess I did start dancing a little bit younger than that. Like my parents, they put me into dance class for like 2 weeks, but then like it was way too expensive. And so then they took me out. But like those 2 weeks that I did have, like that experience was just like, dang, like I enjoyed it. And like, cause I mean, still now, but like I was really quiet and really shy as a kid. And so like, that was the only time where I felt like I could really like express myself without like, feeling like I just felt comfortable, And so when it was taken away from me so like swiftly, I was like, oh wow, like it didn't feel good, right? And so like what I could do was just dance at church, because that was just free. And then so I went to church, and like Daniela was saying, every opportunity we had, we would either dance at church, or like if people at our church got married or if they had parties, like they would teach us choreo and then we would perform there. And I think one memory that still sticks to this day, where it's like we were just like a big, like there was like 6 of us and we were maybe 6-7 years old and we're dancing at someone's wedding. And then there was a point where I had to do a solo, and like I was a shy, quiet kid, but if you told me to do something like in a big crowd, I would still like show my full colors. Like I wouldn't hold back, if that makes sense. And so like I just remember just like getting like a really big like approval from the crowd. And I think from that moment, I just did it because it was comfortable and it was fun. But then at the moment I was like, oh, I guess I'm pretty good at this potentially. So I think from that moment there, it was something that I felt comfortable doing. That was my way out, the way I could express myself. And then like people approved of it. So like it was just something that was just, the momentum just went from there, and I just continued on dancing from church to then now doing it like in high school a little bit, and then did it in college in some organizations. So yeah, it's been fun.
That's dope. So I also want to allow you guys to speak on this, because a lot of times people don't know how to turn their passion into something that could be used to help like spread the gospel and that stuff. Sometimes people they have trouble understanding, why do they have this passion, but they don't know how to work it in with like, spreading it for God's good. So how did you guys discover that, in terms of dance? Like, okay, he gave me this gift so I can do this.
Yeah, that's a great question, actually. I think the first thing, I guess, just to kind of remember is like, you don't have to separate it. Like I feel like our purpose doesn't like the spreading of the gospel doesn't have to be separate from like our everyday walk or our everyday life. I just think naturally like who we are should just represent the gospel. And so if I'm a dancer, naturally I'm going to dance for Christ. I'm not going to have a side gig where I'm dancing not for Christ and then a side gig dancing for Christ. It just should naturally intertwine, like who you are and like the spirit in you just naturally does that. Even like I feel like a lot of times people are like, oh, the gospel is going to like Africa and like spreading the gospel to like, or like going to like third world, like going to third world countries and spreading the gospel, and then coming back to their comfortable home in the US, and then just like living there it's part of your 9 to 5, like whatever your 9 to 5 is. That's just just spread the gospel there, do it like that. And so because our passion is dance, like it's already something I'm doing. So it's not like a separate obligation. It's already something I do naturally, and I already do it at church, or like even sometimes outside of church, like we said, at parties and stuff. And so that's kind of even how the vision of Limitless Flow came forth, where it's like there's so many, like, at least in our the West African Central, or I guess all of Africa, like Christianity is really popular. Like Africa is or the countries in Africa, like they do have, like, they were religious countries. So I think it's naturally that we do have a lot of Christian Africans. And so it's kind of just easy to say, like, hey, like, you don't have to have entertainment where, like, you can have entertainment that's edifying to cater to the people that's already going to be there. You know, you don't have to feel like you have to modify yourself just because it's a wedding. Like, if you want to be able to have Christian music and Christian entertainment at your weddings, this is what we're here for, because the population is so big already of not only like our culture, but then also being Christian. So why not just take advantage of and combining both, you know?
Yes, totally. Oh, Daniela, did you also want to add in?
If yeah, sure. I just wanted to also just say, like, personally for me, it was something that I've always thought about, like, hey, like, I really love dancing, but like I also just, like, because my parents are very traditional, so for them it was like, if I was gonna do something in dance, like, it had to be like something that made sense, that could explain to them, if that makes sense. So like I kind of struggled with that for a long time. It's like I really wanted to dance, I really wanted to learn different dance form, but there wasn't a lot of platforms and there wasn't a lot of opportunities available for me to really do that. And so when I got to college, I was really praying about this. I was like, God, like, I really love dancing, but I feel like every space that I could dance in is not glorifying to you. You know what I mean? And like, what I want to do, I want to do something that makes sense to myself and also to my parents. And so, like, after praying about it, I really felt God showing me that, hey, like, actually dance is a form of worship. Like, it's not, some cultures don't really see it as that way, but it was like, it's dance is a form of worship and it can be used for his glory, right? And so when I started seeing it in that perspective, I was like, wow, okay, why don't I actually apply it in that way? And so that's then how Kemi and I got together, and that's how we end up here.
Yeah, I think a lot of people need to hear that, because some people, they have such a hard time. Like, they know that they have this gift, even like with singers, you know, they, for a long time they sing and they just don't know like what to do with it, and they kind of lose focus of God in it, and, you know, using their voice for other things, and they don't understand why they're stuck or why they're not moving up as a singer, but it's because you're not using it for the right thing, what God designed it for. So definitely. Thanks, guys. So now we're going to get in our quick little game that I like to call We Also Want to Know, geared after our season 1 of We Want to Know. So basically, I'm going to ask you guys a few questions, like 5 or like 6. They're pretty fast paced. You both can answer them. And some of them make total sense for why I'm asking them. Other ones, very random. So first, to start out kind of easy, who is your favorite gospel artist right now?
I guess right now I would say Indiana Bible Church. They're, I believe, a college, or no, sorry, Indiana Bible College. My bad. So I think they're a college. They're a college choir. And so they, for the most part, I think just sing. They do renditions of like popular songs, and they either, I think, like combine different songs and make it one. And I think sometimes they do add like a little hair, like they'll create their own verse. So they just kind of like add twists of songs. But they're really, really good. So I've been listening to them a lot recently. So yeah, I would say them.
Okay.
For me, I've really started getting into Afro Gospel. So the person on my mind right now is Jesse 10. So he has some really cool like Afro beats, gospel music. So yeah, if you look for Afro beats, Jesse 10.
She's putting y'all on, people. Y'all better go and listen to him. The next question: if you can travel anywhere, where would you go?
Somewhere warm.
So that?
I would say Spain.
Yeah. Okay.
So, I would say Cape Town, South Africa, where I grew up.
That makes sense. Makes sense. Let's see. We're gonna go with what's something you wish people knew more about you?
That's a deep one. It's a deep one. It's a deep one.
I want to say the right thing. I don't want to expose myself too much.
Fair. Now we know she got secrets. I think for me, I think people realizing that I really like deep conversations, I guess. Like some people, they see that I'm like very hyper and like very like, and they think I'm just like surface level type things when I actually really do like deep conversations about life, about science, about anything. So yeah, so maybe, yeah, but I like deep conversations.
Okay.
Yeah. I guess I'm gonna sort of take Danny's answer, but I'm gonna twist it as well. No, I'm gonna twist it. I feel like, again, I said it earlier, sometimes I come off cross as quiet, and I think I am naturally, but I think a lot of people don't know that I can talk a lot. But I think it's just they need to kind of like, Danny actually, I guess, really recently found out this about me too. This you just gotta poke. Like I think I just don't like surface level kind of like conversations, and so like if you're like poking and just like asking the right questions, like it will come out the conversation. But so just for people to know, like if you poke, there's depth to me.
Wow. It's like kind of crazy because what you guys said, it's literally me. So that's why I'm just like, wow, okay, I see it. Because I'm quiet at first too, but like once you get to know me, like I just ramble and kind of just ramble. So next question. This is one of the random ones. Okay. Are chicken nuggets and chicken tenders the same thing?
No, they taste different.
But they're both chicken with no bones, just in different shapes.
Yeah, but they taste different. So.
I was gonna say no because it's a different shape, but you just mentioned that. I didn't know about the taste because I didn't really eat a lot of chicken nuggets or chicken tenders, but I would say the shape is different. Maybe they cooked a little differently. I don't know.
Interesting.
Are you team there?
I honestly don't know. Those are just my go-tos when I go out to eat. It's just like chicken tenders. But I don't know. I think they're kind of the same, but in my head, I don't know. I really don't know. Next.
That's how they get you. Capitalism. They make the same thing, but in a different way. That's how they get you.
Basically. Favorite scripture.
Ooh. 2 Corinthians 5:17. New creation in Christ.
Okay.
I know this is like a generic one that people bring up, but it is my favorite scripture. Jeremiah 29:11. For I know the plans I have for you, says the Lord. Plans to prosper you, not to harm you. Plans to give you hope and a future.
Oh, great. And this is like the last question, and it's also really, really random. I had to throw it in there. If you clean out a vacuum cleaner, are you also a vacuum cleaner?
I'm done.
If I out a vacuum cleaner and my vacuum cleaner, I think I can confidently say no.
Yeah, I'll say no as well. I would say that the vacuum kind of cleans a different way as I would clean out the vacuum cleaner. The vacuum uses, suction and everything, whereas like I'm taking that out and I'm dumping it or washing it. So it's a different mechanism, you know what I'm saying? So I would say no.
I'd say you're not a vacuum cleaner. You're a cleaner of a vacuum. Food for thought, people.
Yeah.
Food for thought. For stuff. Okay. Now
is that the right answer?
In my mind, it was. There was really no right or wrong answer. It's just to see how like your brain's working.
Yeah, no, the engineering brain in me is like, no, let's talk about the mechanism.
Okay, so now let's get into some more questions, actual serious questions. These questions will be more focused on Limitless Flow and all that you guys do. So first, how did you guys come up with Limitless Flow? Like from the name to like even starting it together?
Go ahead, Kemi.
Okay, cool. And I'm gonna try to make it abridged, or I can say half and then I'll pass it over to Danny. Limitless flow. So back in 2019, when I graduated college, undergrad in 2019. And so it was just kind of like, like, all right, I already knew I'm gonna kind of take a couple years off before I go back for PT school. So just like, okay, what can I do to kind of still be productive? And I was like, okay, like, I already love to dance. So why don't I take advantage of just like dancing, since I'm not necessarily pursuing, I mean, who knows, maybe God will take it differently, but the idea is like not to like pursue it professionally. So just like, what can I still do to kind of like work on that craft, make that like, something. And so initially I was kind of just like trying to get into the Afro field, but not necessarily like the Afro Gospel like dance world. So I was just kind of like just doing anything I can to kind of just like make a name for myself. But then like, I just, long story short, didn't feel like I was being edified. It was just like, I'm dancing and it's fun, but it's like, it's not like these moves make me uncomfortable. The clothes that they're asking me to wear is making me uncomfortable. So it was just like, just like, it just felt like I was compromising my faith. Right. And then, so I know there was a point back in so fast forward to 2020, right? When like the end SARS things and all like the movements and just like Africa was happening. I remember reaching out to Danny, like, oh, like we have to like do a dance video to kind of just like bring awareness to all of this, yada yada yada. Because that was also when I feel like in 2020, also with just the whole Black Lives Movement also as well. I feel like a lot of people were just coming up with dances to kind of bring awareness to the movement. So I was like, oh, this would be a great idea to bring do a dance video for these movements. That didn't happen now that I'm saying it out loud. But just like thinking about that, I was like, wow, Daniela's a really good friend of mine. She knows how to dance. She's also African with me. And then I also felt like I've kind of been compromising my faith through the art of dance. So, and I was like, dance can be a form of spreading movements or stories and telling stories. So like with all that, like it just combined into one big thing. And I was like, Daniela, do you want to kind of start an Afro Gospel dance group where we kind of like fill the void in like Christian entertainment and Christian social media, and just spread the art of dance and the gospel all at once. And I guess maybe I can stop talking there. Maybe Danny can continue off.
But yeah, that's how we started out. When Kemi reached out to me, I had already been thinking about this and praying about this, because in 2020 I was entering my senior year of undergrad, and like in undergrad I had started a dance team on campus, worship dance team, praise dance team. There we go. Totally forgot. Praise dance team on campus for the Christian community that we had. And so I was thinking about like what's next after that. So when she reached out to me, I was like, this is already something I was thinking about. So I just feel like this is God putting us together here. And so yeah, we just started like low key kind of meeting up, prepping and all these things. And then Limitless Flow, how did the name come about? We wanted everything that we did and do in the future to be led by God. And so everything we did like in the prep time in 2020 and early 2021 was we were just praying and we're like, God, like we want the name to be from you. We don't just want like a random name or whatever, So like we prayed about it, and basically we were given a scripture, which was John. Wow, am I blanking out? John 7:38. I knew it. I was just, Anyway, so the scripture, John 7:38. And basically the scripture speaks about Jesus saying, like, whoever's thirsty, come to me, and I'm paraphrasing, I'll quench your thirst. And then it goes on to say like that living water will flow from within you, right? If you come to Christ. And so we got that, and we were contemplating on that. We were praying about that word, like flow, like really stuck to us. But then we were thinking about this, like, okay, like when we come to Christ, like we have this like limitless overflow, right? So we kind of were like, oh, okay, limitless overflow. Okay. And then we initially were gonna go with limitless overflow because that really stuck with us. And then I guess I'll put this out there. Then my brother Like he's just, an interesting older brother. I had told him about this, and I definitely told him Limitless Overflow. But then one time he was just like, "Oh yeah, Daniela, like how's Limitless Flow going?" And I was like, that sounds pretty good. In my head, of course. I didn't tell him because we can't be telling him. But if he watches this video, then he'll know. But and then I told Kemi, I was like, Kemi, how about Limitless Flow? And then we like thought about it, prayed about it more, and then it just stuck. So that's the journey.
That's dope. So I know you just spoke about like, your brother's input, unknowing input in the name. So how was it like speaking with your family about this idea that you guys want to do this?
I'll go first. So again, with my family, like I mentioned, like my parents are very like traditional in their way of thinking of dance. And or I should say conservative in their way of thinking of dance, conservative in the Christian context. And so I knew that speaking to my parents about it would be an interesting conversation that we're gonna have. But because I had already started the dance ministry on my campus, and so when I initially had communicated that with my mom, like she was like, I don't know about this. How can dance? She didn't really see dance as a form of worship, or she didn't really understand it. But I had to just show her that I really wanted it, and I really felt like this is something that God was calling me to do. And so because of that, she was warmed up to ideas. But then when we started Limitless Flow, and I told her about it, she's very hesitant. She was like, I would say she was not very supportive. She was just like, I don't know, you're an engineer. You should be focusing on being an engineer, not on dancing. Why now people are going to see a whole engineer dancing dancing at events? Like she just didn't get the picture or get the image. But I think I just told her, hey, like this is something I really feel passionate about and something that I'm pursuing. And after she just saw how much I just, kept going and kept being invested in it, she came around and she's now very supportive. And stuff. My siblings, they're always very supportive because we all love dancing. So they were just like, oh, okay, we saw that coming. And so they're very supportive as well. Oh, my dad is also very supportive.
I would say for my family, my family found out the same time, I guess, as the whole world when the whole world found out. Because like, I don't know, we don't really share too much in our families. Just like when you find out, you find out. So my brothers found out through Instagram, because obviously through Instagram because they follow me, and then like there was linked to the Limitless Flow page, and so obviously they were really supportive there. Even my eldest brother, my brother Akbeth, he was just like, because sometimes when I'm the little sister one, and then I'm also like apart by 9 and 7 years, so like in their head I'm always kind of like 5. And so like when it was like, oh, like I'm starting a business, I think for him it was just like, oh my gosh, my little sister is no longer like, she's old enough to really do this. And so I think for him it was probably just like a real shock and like, wow, like she's a whole business, because he also owns a business as well. So I think it was just the entrepreneur in him, just like, wow, like to see me also kind of go in that realm, as being an entrepreneur to a certain extent, do this was just like, wow. And so I can tell he was really proud and excited for me, as well as my other brother, DJ. But then my parents, I actually had to tell them because they don't have Instagram. And so my parents always been supporting of me dancing because they know I love to dance. They know I'm really good at it. They see me do it at church. And so they as well were like, obviously just continue to be on the book route, like I guess Daniela's mom, but just like obviously like this is a side hustle you want to do, because I feel like it's common in like our culture to have side hustles of like, your main hustle, then your side hustle. So they were totally fine with it and supportive.
Oh, that's good to hear. So the next question for you guys is like, how has it been like trying to navigate like this new space? Because you guys do something that's really different, I guess. So like, how has it been, since launching it and being on Instagram? Like, how has the feedback been from people who do see you guys doing what you do?
It's been a roller coaster ride, I'll put it that way. I think in the beginning, like for us too, we had to like learn like firstly set our bounds, like what are our bounds? Because like we knew that people are going to see us dancing and they're going to want us to do what everybody else is doing. Because like, oh, you guys, why don't you do to this new Davido song or whatever, So firstly, we had to set the bounds, but then secondly, we had to just learn like what content we want to put out there and like and navigate that. But in terms of a response, I think people were very supportive. In the beginning was a little slow because we didn't like officially tell people like besides our family or besides our close friends, like, hey, like we're starting this thing. So people just saw dance videos, but they weren't sure like what was it for. But now that we've like officially like launched and we've done like this, we've got our logo, we have a website, all these different things. I think people are now like, wow, like, okay, this is a real thing. Like, okay, so they're actually very supportive because I think, like you said, it's a new thing, right? There's not a lot of people being intentional about doing what we're doing, which is pushing content through dance for Christ, right? And so I think there's a lot of people out there who actually want this content. And I think they're realizing by seeing us dance, they're like, you guys dance really well. And you dance to something that I would want to listen to, and so it's I think the response has been really great, and I'm excited for what's to come because I think great things are coming.
Yeah, just to quickly add on, yeah, even just beyond just like family and friends, like sometimes both me and Daniela would just read through the comments and we're just getting love and support from like even like non-Christians, just like even Muslims following us and following the page, and then just people just saying like, wow, you guys are really good, you're really great, like keep doing what you're doing. And so I think again, it was a slow start of like trying to understand like, us, who we are as individuals, and then us coming together. It was still like we danced together, but it was still a new thing, and learning each other, how we vibe off of each other. But then I think once like I'm trying to figure out exactly when, but like I feel like once we had like one really good video, it just from there, like the momentum just kept going. And from there was really good feedback from family, friends, and then even just our new family that we're gaining through Limitless Flow.
Yes, I think a lot of times it's like content creators, people find it so hard like when they first starting out, but like eventually it'll come. Just trust it, and like I promise y'all it's gonna go far. So the last question that I had for you guys, well, I don't even know. Yeah, it's a question. So what advice do you have for people out there who, have this gift and they want to spread it using spread it for the good of God, but they don't know how, like they're scared that they're going to get judgment because they're not doing what everyone else wants them to do?
Yeah, no, I think that's a good question. I think my advice to people would be that they should listen to their heart. Like they should listen to like their spirit, I guess is a better way, not their heart. They should listen to what God like what is the vision that God's giving them, right? And really think about like who's gonna be impacted by them saying yes to that vision. And like I like to think about it like, wow, like God's the one who like gave me this gift, right? How much more impactful would it be for me to use it for his glory, right? So yeah, that's my advice. Like listen to your spirit, listen to God. Like what is that vision that God's given you? And I know a lot of us, we have these visions of we like are distracted a lot of times by the world or by different things, and we don't end up like pursuing it. But I think deep down, like God's saying, hey, like this is how I want to use you for the kingdom. And we just need to like be attentive and listen, even maybe ask God, like, what is it that I should be doing? You know what I mean? And then the second advice would be to just be consistent. It's hard. In the beginning, it's really hard. And it's, that this people they're going to judge you, and like people are going to give you like, criticism, and some of them are not constructive, right? So you just have to be consistent and be steadfast, like stay strong and keep going. Just keep going. Like as long as you are rooted in what you're doing and you know who you are, who's sending you, like, and you all you have to do is then now be consistent, and consistency is key. And once you get on that consistent train, then I think it's going to be a success. And then also don't be afraid to just put yourself out there. Reach out to people. Like you reached out to us, and like that's honestly what this whole thing is about. Like collaborate with other people. Like be confident in your art, because like you need to be your biggest fan first before other people, you know what I mean, can be your fan. Because like, okay, you put something out there and gets one view, you need to be okay with that. You know what I mean? Like it's not about the end product. It's about the initial product. You being like, okay, I'm putting this out there because I really care about this being out there, and whatever the return is, that shouldn't be like the metric, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? Because like sometimes we fall into that trap of like, oh, this video only got 10 likes. Oh, maybe I won't do that stuff anymore. No, keep going, and you need to be your biggest fan, and then whatever you put out there is going to reach the people that needs to see it. So yeah, that's my advice.
Yeah, that's really good. And I would add, because I could definitely say I was that person. Getting a like even so, like for instance, like grabbing a partner to do it alongside with you. So if like you're kind of scared and maybe like along with all the good things Daniela said, but if you feel like maybe to a certain extent it's still kind of hard and it's tough, like find someone who has a similar vision or similar path and just like bump heads. And just I think it's easier when two heads are better than one, right? So it's easier just to find someone who's already kind of thinking the same thing and just joining, partnering alongside with them. And then just remembering, like back to my story, like it's just not edifying to do it the way, and like what you were saying, it's not edifying, or like it's not beneficial to do it the way the world wants you to do it. Like I've tried it and it wasn't good, you know? So I think just having that confidence that, you know, there's peer pressure and there's going to be external people saying do it this way because you'll get like more views. Back in the day, like you'll get the views, but like it's not it doesn't satisfy. And especially like if you're trying to fulfill purpose and live a godly life and like kind of do the live out the gospel, like just have the confidence and remind yourself that it's not worth it. And just tell yourself that in the end, like you want to be able to hear well done from God in heaven. And so like if that's what you're aiming for, and if that's your goal, then have that confidence and assurance the path you're on is okay, and do it. Just do it.
Yes. So if you're that someone, I hope you heard their advice and you just go forth with whatever you plan on doing. But thank you guys for coming on today. I want to give you guys a chance to tell people how they can find you guys.
Yes, you can follow. We have a couple of things like we're adding onto the list. So Danny, fill in the stuff that I kind of did forget. But you can follow us on Instagram at _limitless flow _ and then I think Instagram, TikTok as well, _limitless flow _ we also created a YouTube channel. Maybe Kaija, I'll send that to you because I don't remember it off the top of my head. But I'll send you over the link to our YouTube. We have a Patreon as well where you can financially support. Yeah.
And then on our Instagram, we have a link to our new website, which is, still in the works, but it's there in case you wanted to see more, and also see some of the services that we're offering. You can see it there, but feel free to reach out to us, DM us on Instagram, and email us. Our email address is limitlessflow.bookings with an S at gmail.com. And yeah, feel free to DM me personally. DM, I don't know, Kemi's okay with you DMing her personally, but I'm okay with it. And then DM us on our page as well. But we love talking to people. We love meeting new people, Christian or not Christian. So yeah, just connect if you just like dancing, or you just want to talk, or you just anything.
She just signed you guys up to go. Contact Kemi if you want. I guess at this point, she just signed you all up to do it, so you might as well.
Might as well, slide in the DM.
Well, anyways, if you guys didn't catch it when they said it, it'll all be down in the description box down below, so you can find any of their links down there as well. And I just want to say thank you all for watching. Make sure you come back for another one. Make sure you're following my Instagram, which is always down in the description box down below. But yeah, as always, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell to be notified every single time I post. And until next time, y'all, bye. We wanna know more about you. We wanna know, so I brought you on my show. We want to know.